Man Rush.
This is the Four-Man Rush. Hello, Panther fans, and welcome to another podcast of the Four-Man Rush. I'm your host, Timmy Vio, here with three of the four gentlemen. We have Larry, Kevin, and Canardo, a.k.a. Kenny G, is up in the building today, and we're going to talk Panther football. We're still playing. We might not be winning, but we're still playing the game, folks. A lot of changes have occurred since the last podcast. Well, somewhat. Not a lot, but some changes. But we'll get into that. We'll get into the back and forth between some of the players and the coaching staff, and if you guys didn't know, okay, Kevin, Will, and Larry all were down in ATL for the Falcons game, and they dropped in at Cam Newton's establishment known as Felloship, and they actually got to sit and chat with the man. So we'll let Larry and Kevin, hopefully Will, be in here later on, but let them talk about that, and we have some fan questions that we're going to answer. We're going to start doing that a lot more. We'll have some more details on that, and then we'll talk about a Seattle game. And we got bad blood between Seattle and us, so I'm not gonna say we're gonna get blown out, even though they've blown us out before. Who knows? But things happen. Any given Sunday. So we'll talk about the Seattle game too. So thanks as always for coming on and checking us out. And now we're gonna get down to work. What's up? So, Kadano, I'll let you start off with the Atlanta game. Then you and I weren't able to be there, so we had to sit at home and take this nonsense in our homes instead of in the stands. But give us your spill on the Atlanta game, Ken.
Man, once again, it was just a game that was plagued with self-inflicted wounds, terrible defense, and turnovers, man. That's really been the story of our season. Of course, we started off pretty good, but over the last several weeks, man, that's what's been happening. We had 4 turnovers. You had 2 picks by Allen. You had a fumble by Allen that resulted in a 46-yard drive, capped off by a 13-yard run by Devontae Freeman. And then you had a fumble by Dortch on a kickoff, which caused him to be cut this week. So that's really, in a nutshell, what happened over the week. We allowed 461 total yards, damn near 500 yards we allowed. I mean, we might as well start playing the game with the defense called, what's stronger than the Carolina Panthers defense? And one that I would have to say is Phillip Rivers pullout game. Oh. That's stronger than the Carolina Panthers defense at this point. So we can go on and on and on about this. But if they want to play like this is the type of games we're going to start playing with.
Get them.
Because they're not showing up. 461 yards that they allowed this weekend. After you got blown out by the guys, 29-3 first time around?
Yeah.
And I could talk about the game all damn day. We can go off statistics and things like that, but let's really get to the root of it right now. Let's do that for a little bit. Since Super Bowl 50, we are 7-17 against NFC South teams. 7-17.
Jesus.
Since Super Bowl 50. I mean, everyone likes statistics, right? Let's talk for a little bit.
Speak on it, bro. Speak on it.
And for a team that once ran the division, that's shameful. That really is shameful. And 4 out of those 7 games that we won, those were against the bottom tier teams in the division that season. So this team it's not protecting their house. They're not performing in the division. They look pathetic at this point. And I know the fans get tired of us talking week after week after week. The different things that other teams are exploiting out of us, our different weaknesses and things like that. It gets old after a while. It really does. And I expected them, after Rivera got fired, for them to put up a little bit of fight. And they did at the beginning of the game. It was kind of uneventful, and we were just talking before, it was 10-10 at one point, but this is what they've allowed. I mean, I can't get over the 461 yards that they allowed, man. And this, we'll talk more about the Dante Jackson situation.
Well, we sure
the
are.
Longest touchdown pass that Matt Ryan threw, 93 yards. And I understand, there was some truth to what he was saying. There was some truth where he said that, you kind of put the cornerback's in a vulnerable position. Okay, there's some truth to that, but there's the time and the place for everything.
Mm-hmm.
And the time is probably not to be talking to the media because you already know what's going to happen. They're going to twist up your words, and the next day you're going to wake up and see ESPN, and you're going to realize you made a very bad mistake. And if you want me to keep it real with you, Perry, I'm talking to you, man. If you don't sit him down right now, I got questions, man. I got questions about your leadership. If you let him just go off on your coaching staff like that and you don't take any action against him, take some action against Action Jackson and sit his ass on that bench until he gets his mind straight and he realizes that you don't call out your coaching staff like that after the game. And I realize he didn't mean any harm by that. But at the same time, he has to be smart enough to realize, okay, I made a mistake. Things happen. Let me keep my damn mouth shut. And for the simple fact, Ron Rivera, for the most part, he didn't allow that mess, because Larry and I were talking before the game, and I remember we were talking about there's really some similarities between him and Josh Norman, him getting put in the doghouse, and you see what happened there. Ron Rivera handled business. So I'm expecting Perry to do the same. I hope so. Because if he doesn't, I got questions, and I don't think you deserve a chance at that head coaching position. I don't want to go too much into this game because it's the same thing we talking week after week after week.
I feel you, man.
Terrible defense. They're not executing. And it's just pathetic, man. You got people that out there, McCaffrey, he's doing well. He didn't do all that well this game, but over the last several weeks in this entire season, he's carried this team.
Oh, man. Heck yeah.
But it's week after week they're making the same mistakes. It's all about execution. And before those turnovers, they were in it. You had a chance to win. But once again, this team finds a way to shoot themselves in the foot. And I get tired of talking about it every day. But I already told you what the statistics were as far as the NFC South. That right there, that's Browns type level. You know what I'm saying? That as far as I'm concerned.
Yes.
And I know the fans are tired of it. We're tired of it. We're tired of talking about this, man. We want to see some type of change.
Yes.
And if you don't change some things up this weekend, man, we're going to talk about the Seahawks. We're going to get to that, man. But it's not going to be pretty in Bank of America Stadium this weekend if you don't make some changes. And I realize that Rome was not built overnight, but wow. That's all I got to say right now, man.
I understand, man. I feel you, bro. I'm totally with you, especially the way we started out, man. It seemed like we were going to be competitive throughout the game, and it's just yikes. Kev.
Yeah, as far as the game aspect goes, me and Will, we was in section 347 at the Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Here at the 4-Man Rush, we're going to keep it real. Yeah, it's the home of the Atlanta Falcons, but anyone that ever gets a chance to go to that stadium to watch us play the Falcons is definitely worth it. That's a nice, state-of-the-art, high-tech stadium, well put together. It was my first time going to this stadium. Last time I went was in the Georgia Dome when Julio had 300 yards. That was the last time that I went to Atlanta to watch the game live and in person. But I really can't say nothing different I haven't said during this losing streak here about what I'm seeing. Carnardo was spot on. It's the same old issues. Offensive line, being more often on with their blocking assignments. I mean, what Kyle Allen got sacked, 5 times? Now, I want to say I'm going to come to defense. I would say 2 or 3 of those sacks could have been avoided if he would have got rid of the ball, because he's definitely holding on the ball entire too long, looking for something deep rather than just taking what's available, because several times, throughout the game, me and Will just kept noticing players was open. Kyle Allen was just I can't explain it. When y'all find out, y'all let me know what it was. So it was, like I said, competitive first half. It was 13-10 going into half. Panthers get the ball to start the second half. First few plays, we're getting first downs, and then boom, turnover starts to avalanche. Falcons outscore us 27-10 in the second half, and that's why the score ended up 40-20. What I see with this team is they're not quitting, but they're just outmatched and outgunned. And, you're still seeing some hero ball by some players trying to overcompensate for the obvious known weaknesses. I hate the fact that the word has gotten around the league that, when you watch us on film, that we come off as soft, particularly in the trenches. Me, myself, being a lineman, playing both sides of the ball, me and Larry both, trenches is where our heart and our soul when it comes to football has always been. The last thing you want to be known as is soft. And the word for the 2019 Carolina Panthers, particularly in the trenches, is that we're soft on both sides of the ball. And teams have no problem keeping it simple, lining it up, 1-2 tight ends and a fullback, and just ramming it down our throats. Teams have no problem, sending 5-6 defenders at us because they know we're not able to maintain our blocks. So it's like trying to catch water with a paper towel. That's pretty much what it comes down to. And quite frankly, hey, I'm gonna keep it real. I'm keep pounding. I'm gonna be at the game like I'm always. This weekend when we play Seattle, I'll probably be somewhere else when we play at the Colts, and I'll be at the game for the last one. I'm still gonna support my team. I'm unconditional. I survived 1-15 in 2001, and I survived 2-14 in 2010. So this current 5-8 is not going to run me off. But it's to the point where my optimism is gone. I'm just looking forward to, like you guys said, the opportunity for young guys to get some playing time and yeah, man, let's just start the damn off season. That's pretty much where I'm at right now. And it kills me to say that because heading into this season, the dreaded words on paper, we look like that we would be a team challenging to have a seat at the playoffs. And hey, it didn't work out that way for numerous odd reasons. But if it took this ugly truth to 2019 to finally shake the mediocrity out of this franchise, then so be it. Let the chips fall where they may. Let's reshuffle the deck and let's start all over.
Amen. Larry.
Well, you guys have known for the last couple of weeks that I'm pretty much done talking about football, but I will comment on things that I did notice. I'll start by saying I had a great weekend with the fellas, man. We got to go to one of the most famous sports bars in Atlanta. It's called the U-Bar. If you haven't been to Atlanta but you love women, that's somewhere you need to go.
Yes, Lord.
We also got to go to Fellowship and kick it with Cam for a little while. I actually met another little celebrity. I don't know if guys watch basketball, but Jim Jackson was there.
Shit, for real?
Former Ohio State Buckeye.
Yeah.
He's had about 12 seasons in the NBA.
Yeah. We
talked extensively for about 5 or 10 minutes.
Oh, nice.
Then just had a ball, but I'm trying to focus on positive before I get to the negative. But
stay there as long as possible.
Let me just get straight to it. Dante Jackson was my favorite draft pick in his draft class. I was very pleased with what I saw on tape. Everybody knows I'm a big fan of LSU DBs, even though I'm a trench guy. I've got record of me going in his DM, wishing him luck, encouraging him, giving him big things to say. One of the things I love about him is, his ability to trash talk. He has a lot of confidence with himself. I'm a confident person as well. But there's a thin line between being confident and arrogant. And I think he's at a point where he's arrogant. And arrogance doesn't win, in my opinion, especially in the game of football.
Amen.
Now we're at a point where it's not like you're just talking trash. You're just talking to talk. Everything coming out of your mouth, you're not even backing it up anymore. And then to attack the coaching staff, that's just something that bothers me. I know we were going to talk about Donte later, but like I said, I don't have much football to talk about anymore. I'm talking about confidence. I'm talking about character at this point. Just like Canardo said, he needs to be humble. Somebody needs to sit him down. I don't think it's ironic that Ron gets fired and a week later, this is when guys just start showing their ass. Please excuse my language. That just tells you about the kind of coach that Ron was. He was able to maintain control of a locker room with a lot of different kind of guys in there, even with Cam. So I do miss Ron. I'm not saying that was a mistake, but definitely the leadership right now is missing, and that had a lot to do with probably why the way we played the way we played. Kyle Allen, same guy. He's a formidable backup. When Will and Kevin told me how long it was taking him to get through reads, that's just telling me you're not progressing, man. It's just I want to see guys improve, and that leads to my next point. Let's get to these young guys. Let me see what we have in the roster moving forward.
Exactly.
No, I know DJ's trying to, I think he passed 1,000 yards. He's trying to have a career season. But let me see what Andrew White had. Looking at the offensive line, let me see what Garrett McGinn has. Let me see what Jermaine Carter has. Let me see what Andre Smith has. Let me see what Jordan has. Jordan Kanasic. I just want to see what we have on the roster at this point. Winning is far out of the question. I don't care if we win or lose at this point. I want to see what kind of talent we have so we can know, as four-man rush, how we can foresee us addressing the roster in the offseason. I'm just extremely frustrated, man. I never feel like this. I love football. My college team sucks. My NFL team sucks. I'm just here for the ride at this point. I'm just watching the watch. I'm hoping my fantasy team wins. But I'm tired of this mediocre feeling, man. We're not even the worst team in the league. So we're going to end up with a mid-round pick.
Yep.
All for nothing. I just – listen. We came into this season saying that this was the most talented roster we ever had.
Sure did.
If you look at previous recent seasons, 2013, 2015, Cam didn't even have nobody to throw to in 15. He made things happen with Jericho Cotchery and a guy that's not even in the league no more, Corey Brown.
Mm-hmm.
So to have this kind of talent at receiver, to have this kind of talent in your defensive backfield, when have we ever had this kind of defensive backfield? When? Ever? In every era of Carolina Panther football, you can pick out one or two guys. You can say, we had a great safety, Mike Mentor.
Mm-hmm.
A few years later, we had a great corner, Chris Gamble.
Mm-hmm.
We've been putting it together with off-the-street, undrafted guys for years. I still got Melvin White that bad feeling in my face. Remember how Steve Smith did him? Oh. We've never had a great secondary. I'm not saying this secondary was great, but you know what? The talent was there to be great, and we failed.
Yeah.
We've never had this kind of roster before, and for it to come out to be a 5-win team, I'm just highly disappointed, man. That's all I got to say.
I'm with you, man. I'm with you. Go ahead, Kev.
Yeah, and just to feed off, what you asked me earlier. I'm sorry I didn't elaborate on the second part. As far as the experience in Atlanta, hanging out with the fellas, we brought it to you guys 4-man rush style. Will flew in from Miami. I picked him up from the airport that Saturday morning. We grabbed us some grub at IHOP. Got situated for the room, and and we met up at the U Bar and enjoyed watching the football games, the SEC championship between LSU and Georgia. Saw some good potential NFL prospects.
True. Saw
a few guys in that game I would love to have on our team next year.
Mm-hmm.
And then like I said, we took it over to a fellowship. Now I'm gonna be honest, I'm gonna put myself on blast for this.
Uh-oh.
Like I said, we keep it real at the 4-man rush. I read on the website what the dress code was for fellowship, and I was nowhere near the dress code, what it was, and I was kind of thinking man, I need to go buy this, or I need to do that if I'm gonna go. And Will was just like, man, let's just go by there and see, man. I mean, if they tell us no, then oh well, so be it. So, had Will and Larry listen to me, we probably would have missed out on missing Cam because, I'm thinking it's about a book, saying no sports gear, no, gym shoes, no ball caps, and y'all saw the pictures, we wearing hoodies and sweats, we looking like an old 90s Naughty by Nature video, you know what I'm saying? So, but, the whole thing almost didn't happen, but, I'm glad that we listened to Will, so let me give him his props for, being persistent about let us go. And let's give a shout out also to our diehard Panther fan from Canada, Mike Rowe, who came on down.
Mm-hmm.
He's a big podcast listener, so Mike Rowe, I'm going to personally give you a shout out. Appreciate you always supporting the 4-man rush, even though we don't always see eye to eye on certain things. But, nobody travels harder and supports the team from such a long distance like you. You went to 5 games this year. Only saw 1 win. That was when you went to Arizona. So again, it was a pleasure to be in your presence, and it was good that you met my other four-man rush brothers. And but overall, man, it was just a good time, man. And I definitely look forward to a four-man rush in the 2020 season, meeting up maybe for a few more road games as well as some home games as well. But when I'm with my brothers, man, it's a bond like no other, and we just enjoy our fans following us and supporting us and making us enjoy what we do.
Hey, Kev, if I can add a couple of points, I don't want to toot Cam's horn too much, but I live here in Atlanta, in the Atlanta area. Fellowship just became my spot. Like I like to dress up, so that gives me a reason, to dress up a little bit. And honestly, for it to be so upscale, everything was reasonable. It's one of those places where you get a whole bunch of quality for a reasonable price. The cigar selection was outstanding. I can go to my local smoke shop, and I don't get that kind of selection in cigars, And the food, I imagine, was great. I know you guys had some food there. I wasn't even hungry, but the atmosphere overall, that's the place I like to be. It's definitely a place I'm going to go to again. I'm going to continue to support Cam, whether he's a Panther or not.
No doubt.
Fellowship is probably the best place I've been in Atlanta, and I've been here for 5 years.
Wow.
Yeah, it definitely was, and I'm looking forward to coming back to Atlanta myself and hitting up that spot. Maybe I can snag Kenny G and bring him along with us, man. I mean, he's been my cigar guru that I've been going to, and let me put it out there. I got the virgin lungs per se. This is my only third time ever smoking a cigar, but hey, it was the atmosphere. I enjoyed it. I told the guy, look, man, I'm a beginner with this, but, I just want to, enjoy the experience. So he broke it down to me, told me the different type of cigars and the different flavors. I ended up getting like a chocolate and caramel flavored cigar. It was only like $14. I had got an order of chicken wings. That was like $11. So like Larry was saying, man, I mean, it's an upscale place as far as decor and atmosphere, but the prices were reasonable. The atmosphere was nice. And the DJ had all the good mix of music, both, old school and new. And, hey, I got to keep it real. The women of Atlanta, loved it. My 4 eyes was full. Do you hear me? I was nearsighted and farsighted looking around at Fellowship. I'm trying to tell you guys.
Easy, big fella, easy.
But yeah, Canardo, you a cigar connoisseur? You got to come out to Fellowship, man. We ain't got to wait till the 2020 season, bro. You got to, you got to make some plans to catch this ride, bro.
I don't know if y'all know, but Will said he coming next week. So we'll probably be back at Fellowship next weekend, to be honest with you guys.
Oh, man. So, Ken, I didn't know you were well versed in the cigar world.
Yeah. I've been smoking them for about 5 years now. There's so many different kinds. You have the acids. That's probably what Kevin was talking about just now, with some flavor to it. So that's one of my favorites right there. If you're out and about, you don't want to offend anyone at the bar. You definitely want to smoke something sweet, cherry, caramel, something of that nature. You have your mild. You have your medium body. So, I mean, I know Larry probably knows a little bit as well, man, but I try to stick to more like the mild and the medium body. I don't want anything too harsh. The full body, man, if you smoke one of those, that's almost like drinking liquor to a certain extent. Yeah, so I definitely try to stay away from full body, but just so many different kinds. Cohibas are pretty good. Those are kind of upscale and expensive, and $20 a stick for some of those. But yeah, definitely the acids, the mild and the medium body. That's what I kind of go for. I love some flavor, but I just don't want to get drunk off of them,
right?
Especially if I'm already drinking.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, I had an acid. The acid I had had 12 different flavors in it.
Jesus,
wow!
Highly recommended. When you go to pick out the cigar in that spot, Cam actually has a guy that's there just to help you pick out cigars. That's what he does. So he asked me some questions about what I'm into. See, growing up, what we use cigars for is breaking, we roll weed up in cigar.
Yeah,
but
I mean, keep it 100, man.
That's all I was for. But the guy actually smoking. The guy had a lot of great advice, a lot of good recommendations for my taste, and I was very, very pleased, man. Very pleased. It got to the point, man. I woke up the next morning. I went to K&G Menswear, bought me some ties and bought me some socks. So that's just how how passionate I am about this. I'm definitely going to be visiting this place a lot more.
That's what's up. Now I'll be in that.
Yeah, and I'm sorry. And I was going to say real quick, Bernardo, I went and I kept the last piece of my cigar for this moment, bro. So, y'all, for you connoisseurs, forgive my ignorance, but I'm trying to see what type this is. On one side, it says Hicho Mango. And on the other side, it says Esteli Nicaragua. So I don't know if that's a certain type or brand
Echo,
or whatever.
Echo, that means made in. So it was made in some city in Nicaragua. The Echo was made in. It's Spanish for made in or assembled in.
Oh, okay. But yeah, I say the last little bit. I ain't even gonna lie. I'm gonna sit out on the front porch and probably light it up and get this last little piece of it off. But I had to save it, man. Like shit, I'm at Cam Newton. I'm good.
That's cool, man. That's all right, bro. That's all right. So fans, listeners, we're gonna start intermingling fan questions in this portion of the podcast. We'll start kicking off, of course, with the previous game or previous news or things of that nature, and then we'll talk about what questions you guys have directly, and then we'll get into the next game and other portions of the podcast. But right now, we're going to talk about fan questions, and I believe Kevin, you have the email of one of our good fans, very loyal fan. Her Instagram handle I forget, but a lot of these questions are coming from our Instagram listeners. They're awesome, and some Facebook questions have been coming through as well throughout the season too. So we always like to get questions from you guys so we can talk about it, discuss it, get it out there, and have you guys intermingled with this podcast. Now, it's about Panther fans. It's not just about us, all right? We provide the platform, but it's really about you guys, all right? So we're gonna start taking questions, answering questions, giving shout outs, and all that good stuff. So Kev, do you have the question available?
Yeah, I have the email and everything right here, and just for clarity, the IG handle for this listener is I am Genesis 1.
Yeah.
This is a personal female friend of mine that I've known for several years. Very passionate, very diehard. She's a PSL owner, just like myself. She's at every game, so
that's what's up.
Yeah, she's the one that hit me up and sent me the email and told me. Now it's kind of lengthy, but I had to express how I felt it.
That's all right.
I kind of skimmed it down to, for the sake of time, but make sure I wanted to get it come across.
Sure.
She had 5 questions. I answered one of her questions one-on-one, and, we can kind of, have a little rapid fire with these questions and, go from there, Tim.
Cool. Sounds great, bro. Yeah, go for it, bro.
All right. So here's how the email starts off. Again, this is from I am Genesis 1 on IG.
Appreciate it, G.
She says, first of all, I would like to commend all of you for coming together to talk about my favorite subject, Carolina Panthers football.
Yeah.
This industry that you are building is long overdue. Hats off to each one of you gentlemen. So we want to thank you for saying that.
Appreciate that.
And so she says, so right now I want to ask the questions about the future of the Carolina Panthers. So her first point was this. It says, from what I hear on the podcast, you stand in agreement with Tepper's decision of parting ways with Coach Ron Rivera. No, I don't agree, but it's not all on the coach. I don't hear anyone saying anything about the other assistant coaches who are in charge of these horrible plays. There are other coaches and coordinators on this team that deal with the execution of these plays as well.
She got a point.
Kyle Allen said in his press conference that he found out about Coach Ron's departure through the Panthers app while other players were on break from practice. I feel this is very unprofessional and disrespectful in my opinion. I feel like he must do things in decency and order. Why he didn't tell the staff after practice when everyone else was there, but wait until Your staff and players were gone. If you knew all eyes were going to be on you, you should have acted as such. So basically, to sum it up, that was her question, about the handling of Rivera getting fired and why was it done, particularly on a Tuesday when nobody was there. There was no practice. Kyle Allen mentioned that he found out on the Panthers app. So, if everybody want to, shoot a quick round of, your opinion assessment on it, feel free to do so.
I'll go ahead and start because I'm 100% with her.
Yeah.
Out of the whole entire 4-man rush, I'm probably the biggest Ron supporter. I didn't agree with the firing, but I support any move that the team makes. There's a lot of fans that are completely supportive of Tepper, which I am because he's the owner. I don't have a choice. They say, oh, he's a big hedge fund. He ran a hedge fund, or he's a businessman. He's a billionaire.
Yeah.
All the owners are billionaires, to be honest with you. So a couple of them had it passed down to him, but, you got everybody to be a billionaire has to make good decisions. Mm-hmm. But my biggest concern going into this change was I didn't notice it was a coaching thing. I didn't think it was a Ron Rivera thing. And you kind of see that with the things that have happened recently. Like, nobody would ever speak out on the coaching staff with Ron there. Mm-hmm. And then as soon as he's gone, that's when Dante Jackson wants to come out talking out his face. So, I think Ron is really underappreciated. I think he's one of the best coaches in the league. And it just goes to show, he wasn't valued. So you had to move on. I'm not going to point fingers at the other coaches, though. He made changes. I'm a big fan of the positional coaches that we have on staff. I am questionable about Eric Washington being a defensive coordinator. I haven't been completely on board with Norv Turner's decision-making. And the fact that Scott got his opportunity, kind of shined a light on how I felt. Mm. I'm like, listen, Curtis Samuel, he's a playmaker. He's an explosive playmaker. Why aren't they doing more to get him the ball? And what do you see when Scott takes over? He's taking carries. He's getting rotated into the backfield, taking the load off of Christian McCaffrey. So I think we do have the answers, at least some of our answers on the staff, but it's very clear from a front office perspective, the best decisions haven't been being made.
Interesting. Kevin, either you guys want to go first? Or second, I should say.
Go ahead, Kenny.
Okay. Yeah. I think that she's right in a lot of what she was saying. Obviously there's some things that I don't agree with. And I'll have to agree with Larry, as far as the assistant coaches, you don't want to put too much blame on them. I've said this a million times and I'll say it one more time. You got the captain of the ship. And at the end of the day, that's what Ron Rivera is. I'll admit I've been a harsh critic of Ron Rivera over the years. And a lot of it was rightfully so. I think he was a great coach. I've said this many times. He's done some great things for us, but sometimes the message gets stale. And, it's definitely a reflection of the assistant coaches. Obviously, you can't blame it on one person, but, if you're a leader, every leader knows that, heavy is the head that wears the crown. And when things go wrong, that person has to take, some responsibility. So at the end of the day, that's what it is. I hate that that's how Kyle Allen had to find out about how his coach got fired.
Yeah, I was jacked up.
On the app. That's messed up. It's called for what it is. I think that, they definitely could have handled that situation a lot better. But as far as, David Tepper, I do trust him with what he's trying to do, where he comes from, the Pittsburgh Steelers. But when you make a decision like that to fire such a great coach, like, you better be right. That's all I can really say about that. You better be right about this decision, or there will be questions about him too, because he's going to be a coach somewhere else. And he's not only going to be a coach there, but he's going to take that team places, whether he goes to the New York Giants, whether he goes to the Chicago Bears, wherever he decides to go, he's going to do some great things. So when you make a big decision like that at that time, and at an odd time that people feel, you got to be right with that. This has to be a team. I'm not saying that they have to go out and win the Super Bowl next season or go deep in the playoffs. But in 2 or 3 years or something like that, and this is going to be a process, you got to see some improvement. You got to start seeing some improvement next year, or you're going to start questioned by the fans. Hey, you fired Ron Rivera. You felt this type of way about him, but hey, there's no improvement. We're not seeing that. So this guy is very knowledgeable. I know he's into analytics and things of that nature. A lot of people really not hip to that right now. I feel like definitely don't want to go too far with the analytics, because I think there's a time and a place for that as well. You don't want to get too out of control with that, but I understand where he's going as far as that. That is the future, but man, definitely, man. She was definitely a great response by her. She had a lot of good points right there, but some of them I definitely don't agree with, man. As far as the coaches, the assistant coaches, I wouldn't go as far as to putting too much blame. You got to look at your leader at the end of the day. Any leader is going to understand what I just said. Mm-hmm. That's it.
Mm-hmm. Kev?
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm pretty much in agreement with you guys. And her second point here, like I said, I just want to make sure I touch on it, since this was she took the time she said it took her 3 days to put this together. So again, I'm just going to get to the point. But like I said, she has a lot of passion.
That's all right.
Conardo, it's funny you kind of foreshadowed this next question. So we should all have something to say about this. And she says on her second point, she said, I heard Kev, say in Tepper we trust, which is something I have said. But would you trust him if he got rid of Cam and makes Will Grier the new quarterback? Or while we are in the offseason, search for a new quarterback and even a whole new team? We all know that Kyle is making some careless plays, but he is only listening to the offensive coordinator, which calls the plays. Yes, you may mention something about the salary cap. However, Tepper has money, so he can do what he wants, salary cap or not. I feel like Tepper is like Joe Clark in Lean on Me. Nobody knows what he's doing. I feel like on the offseason, there are going to be big changes to the whole staff and team. If you listen to one of his interviews, he said this is his team, not Jerry Richardson's team anymore. So on this second point about Mr. Tepper, fellas, how do y'all, and even you, Tim, if you like to chime in, how do y'all feel about it?
When it comes to Tepper and that aspect of what she's saying, it depends, right? And the only reason I say that is because at the end of the day, it's about winning games. And I hate to say this because I love Cam. He's dynamite, and what Julius Pepper said about him was spot on. You don't get rid of talent like this. This is a once in a lifetime talent. But if that's what happens, predicated on what she said, if we put Will in this starting position and we haven't addressed that O-line and we haven't addressed or stopping the run, it ain't gonna matter. It ain't gonna matter. And Tepper mentioned that it's going to take a while for things to come into place to make a winning formula work. So he's cautious about pulling too many pieces out the way. But again, if whatever he does, if that's Will Grier putting in place, and we trade Cam and we get this cap, this added cap room, and we plug in holes and things of that nature, and we start winning games, I ain't got no problem with it. I'm going to be honest with you. I ain't got no problem with it, because at the end of the day, it's about winning games. Now, with that being said, I don't see how in the world we get rid of Cam Newton and win games. I don't see it. I don't see it. Not with the coaching change, not with the way the defense is panning out right now, the way the offensive line is playing. I don't. It's going to be an issue if we get rid of Cam and try to change the entire face of this franchise. And quite honestly, folks, and we mentioned this before. Let's talk about Christian McCaffrey, right? Putting Will Grier at the starting quarterback position is great if you got Christian McCaffrey behind you. My problem is if Cam's not here and we're relying on Christian, right, and we're still not winning games, if you think Christian McCaffrey is going to stick around, I'm sorry, folks. You talk about another once in a lifetime talent. You don't play games with talent like this, folks. You put pieces around these guys to win now. Because if you don't, you're gonna have a disgruntled all-pro running back, quarterback, whatever, and it's gonna have a problem in the locker room. And like we mentioned, folks, Ron Rivera he was the glue that kept it together. Obviously, you saw and see now the attitudes and the personalities in that locker room. It's going to be really interesting to see who we bring in here to run this show. Cause man, wow. I trust Tepper. I do. But he's right. It's not Jerry Richardson's team. It's his team. And we need to realize where he came from, which is the Steelers organization. This man ain't gonna put up no BS, folks. Should he got rid of Ron like that? I don't think so. Ron's earned more respect than that. He's more respected around the league. But, coming from where Tepper's coming from, and I understand that because I'm a businessman myself, you never, ever make emotional decisions when it comes to business. You just don't. You don't, because you're going to get stuck. And I'm afraid Ron made a little too many personal decisions when it came to personnel and coaches and things of that nature, putting the pieces around himself. And I think that carried over to him, possibly getting fired because he held on to people too long. So that's just me. That's all I'd say about that.
What about you, Cornado?
First of all, repeat after me. Will Grier will never be the starting quarterback in Carolina. Let's repeat that one more time. Will Grier
will never be the starting quarterback
in Carolina. You have nothing to worry about with that. He's a good kid.
Yeah.
He may do some things in his career, but one thing he's never going to do is start for a professional team, okay?
Wow.
Now that we got that out of the way, I do think Cam Newton is going to stay in Carolina. He just had a successful surgery.
Mm-hmm.
Everything's going good with that. He's expected to return in the spring. I think Killer Cam is coming back, and he's going to be all right, and he's going to come back with a vengeance. I'm not just saying that because I'm a fan of him, but, you saw the guys, man. They talked to him this weekend. They felt his energy.
Yeah.
And sometimes, man, when you feel that person's energy and you take their temperature and you see where their mind is at, that's a good sign right there. So, man, just off of that, man, I think, man, just like Tim said, this team has a ways to go. It's not something that's going to be fixed overnight. It's going to take time. Tepper knows that. It's going to take, I think personally, it's going to take about 2 to 3 years to start seeing, okay, this is where we want the team to be. I think that's what it's going to take.
Yeah.
But these are the type of things that we really can't worry about right now. This team is a bad team right now as we speak. It's not a very good team. Even in 2015, I knew there were things that, okay, man, this team needs to be careful and they need to improve on that. And you see what happened the next season.
Sure enough.
So I think it's just an accumulation of things that's happened over the last several years, and it's kind of been swept under the rug because of some success that they may have had. Going to a Super Bowl, winning the division 3 years in a row at one point. And when those things happen, you tend to just sweep it under the rug. But like my holistic doctor says, if a sickness can turn into a disease if it's not treated properly.
Truth.
And that's what's happened to this team. They've been sick for a little while, but because you ignored some of the warning signs, it's turned into a disease.
Wow.
And when it turns into a disease, now it takes a little bit longer to reverse it. Excuse me. But, anything can be reversed. And I think this team can be reversed as well. But it is going to take time. It's going to take patience. Y'all got to bear with the guy. Like I said, I trust Tepper. I think he's going to do the right thing. I don't think that was in the most of the decision that he made to fire Rivera. That's something that he'd been thinking about. He'd been thinking about doing it for a little while. It was just a thought. And then, he came to a point where he just saw enough. So have faith in your team. Know that Will Grier is never going to be the starting quarterback in Carolina and that everything's going to be all right, man. But you got to be patient, keep supporting the team, and positive thoughts as well. Positive thoughts, man. But my man just said, Timothy, with Christian McCaffrey, you got to keep him happy as well.
Mm-hmm.
You have the pieces in place. You got McCaffrey, you have Luke, you have, there's a lot of talent on this team. Shaq Thompson, we just extended him.
Yeah, thank God.
They can say what they want to about him, the stiff arm and everything. I know we weren't a fan of that. That can't happen again, Shaq. You got to be better than that. Don't get stiff armed like that again, dog.
Come on, man.
Please don't do that, man. Don't embarrass us like
those
that.
Those steal shots were horrible, bro. The look on his face, man. God,
the look on his face, man. It was just like, oh man, it was like one of those stories. You're probably wondering how I got to this point. That's what it looked like when he got stiffed on. But I'm not even gonna harp on that, man. I'm not gonna play my guy like that.
That's my dude, bro.
Just don't let it happen again.
Yeah.
But everything's gonna be all right. I got all the faith in this world. I think it gets worse before it gets better, and everyone has to realize that it gets worse. But no matter what state we may be in right now, we are in a state of uncertainty. We don't know what's going to happen for sure. All we can do is speculate on a 4-man rush or any other platform. of what's going to happen. But in my heart of hearts, my gut feeling is that Cam is going to come back, and he's going to come back with a vengeance. And don't be surprised if he's in the MVP conversation when he comes back. Don't be surprised.
Ooh, you heard it here first.
This guy has never been in this position before, where he's been out of football for so long, and people are counting him out, man. They're saying he's done. People saying he's done. That's what the streets is saying right now. Cam's done, man. His career is never going to be the same. Super Bowl 50, the Denver Broncos figured him out. That's it, man. The teams know him now. They're going to stop him. And don't think for 1 second that he's not sitting down listening to all of this, and he's boiling. He's ready to get back on that field. That's just my thoughts on the situation. That's my POV. I'm out with that.
And real quick on that, Kanata, it's funny you brought that up because with my brief conversation with Cam, I kind of touched on that. I'm going to get to that, and then I'm going to follow up your other point real quickly. When I went up to Cam, this is how the conversation went. Once I got my nerves, because like I said, I had to calm the little kid in me down. Because when I saw him, like, oh, snap, that's Cam Newton. But, I'm 40 years old, so I can't be, acting like, I'm 4 when I see him. So I walked up to him, introduced myself. I said, hey, Cam, what's up? My name's Kevin Avery. Came down here from the Charlotte area to support the team. We also wanted to come and support your business here. Me and my business partners over here, we just wanted to come out and introduce ourselves and, had the opportunity to meet you. He's like, yeah, well, appreciate you coming by and, thanks for coming down and, still showing love for the team. So, yeah, no doubt, Cam. It was definitely it was something that we had planned months ago when the schedule came out that we was going to come down. But, yeah, man, I just want to let you know that, we support you. I know you're going through a lot. I know you're hearing a lot. But, Cam, just, man, don't even pay that bullshit no mind. And that's exactly what I said to Cam like that. I was like, you're going to bounce back. You come back stronger than ever. And, you're going to make things right. He looked at me and said, oh, I'm not worried about that noise. You best believe it. And when he looked at me and said that, that's all I need to know. Now, this is my one-on-one conversation with Cam Newton. And just the way that he said that and with the look that he gave me, because, he was looking straight ahead. But when I said that, he just looked me in my eyes man to man and told me, I ain't worried about all this noise. I got this. That's all I needed to know. So, you can take it for what it's worth. Kevin, that ain't really happening. I ain't say that. Well, whatever. I was there. So, but yeah, man, don't be surprised that a healthy Cam Newton doesn't come back and takes the lead by storm in 2020. As long as we are able to put the other pieces around them, particularly in the trenches to make things right. Now, Kanata, as far as the other part about the stiff arm by Shaq Thompson, if Will was here, because we talked about it, Will would have told you, come in and talk about it. He's like, yeah, it looks bad, but he's the only one that's chasing Geese, whatever's one, the running back down. Nobody else was even trying to make a play on the dude. And, in Will's opinion, Shaq's the third best player on the team behind Chris McCaffrey and Luke Kuechly. So, yeah, it may look bad, but, hey, I never, talked down on a man that was making an effort to try to make a play. So just wanted to touch on those two things based off what you said, Cardano.
Larry, go ahead and answer.
Hey, man, it's all love at the end of the day. It's entertainment. But I'm still going to say that can't happen again, brother. That can't happen again. I got to stand on that, man. Yeah, he is one of the best players on the team. But you just don't get stiff arm like that again, man. Don't do it. Just don't do it. Find a way, man. Just, grab him by the legs or something like that. Do that. He's not a small guy. I got to stand on that, Kevin. I'm sorry, man.
Larry, go ahead.
I'll go ahead and shine some light on both of your points.
Go ahead, bro.
I think this can all be simplified. We're missing our franchise quarterback. He's not just our quarterback, man. He was the leader of this team. Remember when people said Cam Newton couldn't be a leader? Do y'all remember that?
Yeah, I remember that BS.
Bro.
Yeah, man. Come on, bro.
His competitive nature is contagious.
Yeah.
When you knock him down, like he's been knocked down by the fan base and by the media, how does he always come back? And that's something that we've been missing because nobody else does that. Nobody else comes back when he gets knocked down. We just lay down and blame other people, Mr. Dante Jackson. You know what I'm saying? So we need to have Cam back. That's just really what it is. he's not just the quarterback. I know quarterback is the most important position on the team, but he's more than just that. He's our swag. He's our confidence.
Mm-hmm.
I can imagine, some of these games that we've lost, it would have been a different kind of story if Cam was just there. Just there. Not saying he was going to play perfect, but him just being there. Like, I'm sitting as a fan. When I watch the TV and see us play, his attitude motivates me as a man going into regular everyday life. So I think I think to simplify all of this mess that we're dealing with, it's just the fact that we don't have our quarterback. He's more than just a guy that takes a snap and throws the ball and hands it off. Yeah. He's really, the team has been built around him.
Mm-hmm.
For the last 9 years, it's been built around him. So that's really what we're missing. But to address the young lady's question, man, honestly, I have to agree with her. I wish I had her Twitter handle. I wish I had her IG because she's the type of fan that I can relate to.
Word.
She's questioning things that I question every day, like the offensive coordinator.
Yeah.
I'm not against Norv Turner, but like she said, he's the one giving the play to Kyle Allen, and his job is to execute it.
Mm-hmm.
When you've seen Scott take over, we only put up 10 points, but we've seen things that I wanted to see. He made an effort to get Curtis Samuel more involved in the game plan.
Mm-hmm.
When you realize, you look at your offense, Christian McCaffrey is not the only explosive playmaker you have. You actually have 3 of them, and only 2 of them have been featured.
Mm-hmm.
I applaud Scott Turner for trying to feature all 3 of his explosive playmakers in the offense.
Right.
That was a major change that I saw. So I'm with her 100%. One thing I will say, though, is I think that her frustration is misguided. It's not just on coaching. All of these issues, like I said earlier, it falls in the front office.
Mm-hmm.
Not saying that Ron's message didn't get stale, because I agree with Greg. It got stale, and that's why he got fired. But when you look at the core of the problems, it goes to the front office to me. You have the highest paid defensive line in football. Yes, you are getting to the quarterback. You are getting sacks. But you can't keep your linebackers clean. You spent a ton of money to bring in Paradis, and you spent a ton of money to bring back Darrell Williams. That money invested was into 2 of the worst offensive linemen in football. They're 2 of the worst. Them 2 alone. They're 2 of the worst offensive linemen in football. And you spent the most of your money on the offensive line on them. So I got to point at not the coaching staff. I'm pointing at the front office. That's really what it is. So yeah, we need to move on from Ron because we need to change. Everybody needs to change the scenery. But when you look at the core problems with this team, it falls in the front office. 10 years ago, you drafted Jimmy Clausen. The very next year, you drafted Cam Newton. You spent 2 day 1 picks. Well, day 1 and 2. You spent 2, whether it was a first round or second round pick, you spent 2 on the same position. That set your franchise back. And the way it's trending, you might end up doing the same thing again if you don't keep Cam Newton.
Man.
So I'm pointing at the front office. All the frustration that this young lady has is not towards the coaching staff for me. It's not towards the players. It's all towards the front office. I'm going to support everybody employed by the Carolina Panthers. But at the end of the day, our core issues is within that. So if Tepper wants to address something, you want to bring in your own people, you better improve my front office, buddy. For real.
You mean replacing the best college talent scout in the world? Are you serious?
He said that's the best. He said that's one of the best odds for talent in the country.
In the country.
Yet, it seems like you're hiring a new kick returner every week.
Isn't that funny? Isn't that some shit?
It blows my mind. It really does blow my mind. And it's so many things I could say positive about Tepper. I don't want to just throw him under the bus. Bringing in Gerald McCoy was a good move.
Sure. Bruce Irvin.
Not making the same cap mistake that you made before, it shows improvement. But at the end of the day, there's still core issues within this team that falls on the GM. So what can we do to improve that?
Word.
Oh, go ahead, Coronado.
Oh no, you go ahead. You're good.
Oh yeah, yeah. As far as the whole front office thing, I mean, you're spot on. You know, if we're really going to replace the mediocrity, it's got to be a thorough sweep, man. You know, we was all excited in the offseason because we felt like Hurney had learned his lessons from his previous stint here at GM and seemed to be getting, you know, better players and things like that to complement around, you know, Cam and Luke. But, you know, at the end of the day, you know, the roster, particularly the bottom half of the roster, leaves much to be desired. And I know there's low expectations of players picked after the third round. But, man, you know, when I'm watching other teams play right now, and when I'm seeing that some of their star or most solid conductor players are players that were drafted on day 3, Saturday, I mean, it's just, you know, mind-blowing to think that, you know, we was in position to possibly get some of these players. But, you know, in the words of Tepper, in quotations, Martin Hurney is one of the best evaluators of talent out there.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if that's the case,
tell him.
How come All-Pro, first-team All-Pro tight end George Kittle of the San Francisco 49ers was a 5th-round pick in 2017? How does an All-Pro caliber player not get picked up on a little bit earlier than that?
I mean,
obviously, you know, being out there with Kyle Shanahan, who is a offensive mastermind, as you guys can see, you know, as we saw firsthand at that massacre by the Bay. But you know, we just gotta be more solid and consistent, man. And this is something that's just been haunting our franchise for so long. It's just mediocrity, not only from play on the field, but we've been mediocre in the front office. We've hit on early. Oh, go ahead.
Hey, Kev, let me just add to your point. I'm going to let you finish because you brought up a good thing. Our job is to educate, right?
Right.
You just brought up Kittle, a tight end, right?
Yeah.
Right.
And you brought up how we're not capitalizing on day 2 and day 3 picks, right?
Right.
We all knew that tight end was a point of emphasis. That's why we drafted Ian Thomas, right?
Right.
You traded up. You traded up for your 3rd round pick. I feel like round 1 through 3, you can find day 1 starters in. Sure. I know y'all all agree with me.
Yeah, absolutely.
But you traded up for a day 1 starter, which is round 3, for Rashawn Golden. Do you know who went right after him? The very next pick?
Who?
I'm not sure who.
His name is Mark Andrews, tight end for the Baltimore Ravens.
Are you serious?
Who's about to make a Pro Bowl.
Wow.
That's what I'm talking about.
Wow.
You can go out and find your head coach. But listen, bro.
Wow.
It comes down to your front office.
But that's best player available said Rashad Golden, man.
That's on point because she know there's a problem. She just can't identify it.
She
when
right,
you
though.
Trade up, that means you have confidence, especially in the 3rd round, that you're about to go get a guy that's going to help your team right away.
And this cat is not even on the squad anymore.
He's not even on the team. He's on his couch, and he cleared waivers. Nobody else wants him right now.
I wonder why.
But the very pick after him went Mark Andrews, a tight end.
Pro Bowl.
The reason I know that you wanted a tight end is because the round after that, you selected Ian Thomas. Not saying that's a bad pick, but you traded up. That means you knew you was going to be aggressive and get something that you needed. And you passed on Mark Andrews for Rashawn Golden.
Or an offensive lineman.
That's why I'm not saying that Ron firing was a bad option. I don't think it was a bad decision. But when you're trying to, as an owner, you're trying to make your team better, you have to be able to identify the core of the problem. And to be brutally honest, it hasn't been identified, in my opinion.
Yeah, that big nickel, you know, was a definitely must-have at the 3rd round. So, you know, who needs a tight end to, you know, ease away from the Greg Olsen era when you can have a big nickel project? I mean, man, my God. I mean, you brought up a very, very valid point, man. It's like, you know, I just want Tepper to get his own eyes in there, man. We need a fresh set of eyes to you know, be able to identify, you know, obvious talent and have a coach that can take whatever talent we have and put together a scheme that allows everybody to excel, because I'm seeing it done on so many different levels. Let's quickly mention about the Baltimore Ravens. In one offseason, they changed their entire offensive philosophy to feature their best offensive player, which is Lamar Jackson, and we're seeing what's happening. That's the type of analytics and balls to make the right moves, because you got a lot of coaches and offense coordinators with such egos about their playbook and their calling that, well, no, this is what I put so many years in doing, and gosh darn it, we got to make it work. Nah, damn that. Jim Harbaugh is it Jim or John? John Harbaugh. Sorry, John Harbaugh was like, look, Lamar Jackson gonna be our quarterback. What is it gonna take for us to succeed? And we're seeing it. If I'm not mistaken, don't they have like the number one offense in football right now?
I believe so.
Yeah. So we're talking about, the ability to, adjust your scheme to your talent instead of trying to adjust your talent to your scheme. Get the best players that are available within reach, and, show us as fans that you got the ability, to make this work. And yeah, man, we're mediocre, and just as mediocre in the front office as we are in the field, and that's why this franchise is the only franchise out of 32 teams, and I said this last podcast, that doesn't have back-to-back winning season, man. I mean, it's I am Genesis 1, which is our IG handle. You're spot on with that.
Good job.
So yeah, man, it's that's where it is.
Hey, Tim, take this quotable real quick, man. Make sure you put this on the 4-Man Rush IG.
All right.
We got an owner that we have all the confidence in, right?
Mm-hmm.
You didn't address the core of the problem. You went and just did what anybody else would do. Oh, let me get rid of my coach.
Mm-hmm.
The core of the problem was our GM.
Yeah.
I'm not at Herney's head. I'm just looking at all the issues that everybody has, that 4-Man Rush has, that Genesis has, that a lot of the fans I speak to from day to day have. It all points to your roster. It don't point to the coaching. The reason why we couldn't stop the run is because Ron was trying to adjust his philosophy around the talent that he had.
Yes.
He shouldn't have to do that.
No.
We got aggressive and traded up for a big nickel. We're going to have a whole new coaching staff that might not even use a big nickel.
Mm-hmm.
But a Pro Bowl tight end fits in every scheme that people are running these days. But you traded up for Rashawn Golden. Jeez. And I had all the questions in the world. He ran a 4.7 40. He was slow. All I seen was him play nickel at Tennessee, but you drafted him to be a safety? Come on, bro.
Oh, man.
It is so obvious what the problem is. So although we're supposed to have so much confidence in our owner, you didn't address what I thought the problem was. That's just my opinion. I thought the problem was our GM. You got rid of the coach.
Well,
that's just my problem. Like, I know we're happy to have the new innovative owner, but what Jerry Richardson did, if you think back to 2013, he saw something in Ron. He didn't just get rid of Ron. He knew that Ron had a vision, and he supported it. He got rid of the damn GM.
Mm-hmm.
So when it come down to, we done got rid of Ron. We done lost one of the best coaches in the league. Please don't disappoint me more and bring in the wrong coach. That's all I'm asking, Tepper.
And we'll talk about potential coaches. I guess we'll talk about that next podcast. And we might even wait till the end of the season, be honest with you, because we're not going to hire anybody right now. But we do have a game on Sunday. We got to play them Seattle Seahawks, and Panther fans, you know how that goes. There's a lot of bad blood between us and the Seahawks, man. Yep, we got Bruce Irvin on this team now. So I mean, it's gonna be interesting. That's for darn sure. So let's chit chat about the Seahawks coming to OB of A, and then we'll wrap it up from there. Kenny, what do you see in the Seahawks, and do we have a chance?
Well, let me give you a fun fact. Three of the first games that I went to were against the Seattle Seahawks. And guess what our record was against those 3 times I went to those games?
0-3.
0-3. We lost all of those games. So Guess what game I won't be going to this weekend? Maybe they'll have a chance if I don't go to the game. So
I bet it won't matter.
Stay away from that.
I bet it won't matter. It won't matter.
There you go. I'm going to stay away from it. Maybe we'll have a chance at that point. So that might be a key to victory. One thing I have to say about this team, they're hotter than a firecracker right now, man. They won 4 out of their last 5 games. 2 of them are against some really great teams, man. Minnesota Vikings, and they won against the San Francisco 49ers on the road in that overtime win, a thrilling overtime victory.
And they stole a tiebreaker with that one.
There you go. So that sums it up right there, what my man Larry just said.
Yeah.
But one thing I know a lot of people think that we don't have a iceberg's chance in hell this weekend. But there are some statistics that the fans need to know about, Panther Nation. For one, the Seahawks are allowing 387.3 yards per game. And they're also allowing 104 rushing yards per game as well. So, like I said, I know we can throw around stats all day. That's what we do. We do our research and we try to give you the best statistics possible to follow the game. But if they're allowing 100 rushing yards per game, I think that might be good for Christian McCaffrey this weekend. So, that might be something to look up to. The one thing that's really killing us is just self-inflicted wounds, turnovers.
Yes.
And I think that if you take those turnovers away, that we could win some of these games. Now, I know what I said, that I don't see us winning games for the rest of the season, but that can change my mind if you stop shooting yourself in the damn foot. And that has to start this weekend.
That's true.
So, Russell Wilson, I'll point out some players, obviously.
Ballin'.
Nothing left. There's nothing to be said about him. Russell Wilson is who he is.
Ballin'.
He is who he's always. He's realistically the MVP right now. You can point out Lamar Jackson, but you look at his statistics right now: 26 touchdown passes and only 5 interceptions. Man, he's right there neck and neck. So that could be a possibility. You have Chris Carson, their running back, over 1,000 yards rushing this season, and then of course Tyler Lockett, who's been a thorn in our damn side every time we played him. So,
every damn time.
Yeah, it's we usually play him tough for the most part. We've got blown out by him. One time I believe. A few times, but it all goes back to protecting our house. Are they not embarrassed after losing 5 games in a row? Are they not at that point yet where they're tired of losing? When do you get tired of losing? I think that's the question that we all ask right now. And I think one statistic with us is 18 turnovers in the last week 6, I think it is. 18 turnovers.
That's right. Yep.
So I keep going back to that, protecting the football and not shooting yourself in the foot. I got to keep going back to that. And I think that if we can do that this weekend, we might have a chance. But they got to show me, man. I keep saying this week after week after week after week. It gets old. You got to show me. I'm not going to give them a victory if they haven't shown me anything. And I can't do that this weekend. I'd love to see them win. I haven't seen them beat the Seahawks much in person if I were to go to the game this weekend, which I'm not going to do. But we'll see, man. I think it'll be a close game. If you want me to give you a score right now, I'll probably say 31-21. I think we'll be competitive. I just don't think it'll be enough. I just don't see it happening, man. But I don't see them get blown out. Shocker. But, man, I think they'll play with a little bit of fire this weekend, but it just won't be enough. 31-21. That's my final prediction. Russell Wilson's going to have a field day, man.
Kevin.
Yeah, that's great.
What you think, Kev?
Man, this is always a tough spot for me. That fan of me want to always, believe and win one for the Gipper and all this other stuff. But, man, reality didn't set in for me, man. Like Carnado said, man, I can come up with stats, too. I'm like, let's look at what happened this past Monday night, if I'm not mistaken. The Seahawks was at the Los Angeles Rams, a 7-5 Los Angeles Rams team at that. And they pretty much took Seattle behind the woodshed and, and showed them who daddy was. The Seahawks, with MVP caliber Russell Wilson at the helm, didn't score not one touchdown. The final score was 28-12. And I'm just, looking over the numbers here. Russell Wilson was 22 out of 36. No touchdowns, 1 interception, 245 yards. that's doing a damn good job on them. And looking at their rushing game, the Carson had 76 yards on 15 carries, so that's about 5 yards a pop. Wilson ran 5 times for 28 yards, again about 5 yards a pop. Now they did lose one of their key running backs for the season, Rashard Penny. He was with a MCL, so he's done for. But again, we've had several games where key players were missing, and we still, we still laid a damn egg, But again, man, I'm saying this now, but by the time I walk into the stadium, that passionate side of me gonna feel like, all right, we're gonna shock the world. We're gonna, we're gonna do something nobody expected. So until reality changes that perspective for me, that's the mind frame I'm gonna have when I wake up Sunday morning and make my way to Bank of America Stadium. But yeah, the whole thing about traveling from West Coast to East Coast, 1 o'clock start time. But like Conrad said, if we're tired of losing and decided we just really want to just show up, this would be the perfect opportunity. But until it happens, I can't give them anything that they haven't earned either. So, the opportunity is there, but then to take advantage of it.
Larry?
I want to talk football, man. But I will. Russell Wilson is one of the best in the game at, maneuvering in the pocket. He can do it with his arm and his legs. We do have, one of the stronger pass rushers in the league, so we should be able to stop him. But I'm not very confident, man. I don't need to be confident. I need to be looking forward to April when we get ready for the draft at this point. But I want us to look at the matchups. They did have a rookie that everybody was big on. I don't know his name. I can't think of his name, but he ran a 4.3 40, was huge. I guess that's going to be who James Bradbury matches up on. He's looking for a new contract. But
DK Metcalf out of Ole Miss. Ole Miss.
Oh yeah,
Mr. 2% body fat.
Yeah,
DK Metcalf, and also we're going to look at a guy named Josh Gordon that we passed up on to be hiring.
Oh yeah, they did pick up Josh. That is right. Oh my God, we're about to get ate up.
I kind of feel like I'm more so with Conrado on this one. I do applaud Kevin because he's the most optimistic person I've ever met in my life.
Word.
To find us some optimism here is a good thing. But am I wrong? Am I a fair weather fan to say I hope we lose? I don't want to.
Don't be one of them tankers, man.
I don't want to lose. I really don't. I'm not trying to tank. I want to look for positive things to find in our roster, going into the offseason. But just being a realistic individual like I am, I don't see too much that we have, aside from what Greg mentioned. They give up a lot of rushing yards. So Christian McCaffrey should have a big day. And that's really it. Maybe we can see some of our offensive linemen that haven't seen the field. I want to see Larson. I want to see what really he has to offer still.
Mm-hmm. You're not going to tell me
even if we don't win, just show me that we can improve in certain areas. That's what I'm looking forward to. I'm not going to talk about keys to the game. I'm just talking about what I'm looking for. Show me some way, shape, or form that we have something to build off of, and I'll leave it as that. Other than that, man, they're coming to Bank of America. Let's do something right. Let's protect our home field.
I'm going to tell you right now, man, the keys to the game is don't turn the ball over and protect the quarterback. That's it. We haven't been able to do that for almost 4 weeks now, especially protecting the quarterback. And what I don't understand is, we can't be the only people that sees Darrell Williams sucking ass at every position that he's put in on this season. Why can't we put Tyler Larson in at the guard spot? Why can't we test that out? I don't understand that, to be honest with you.
Will made a great point. He said when teams watch film on us, individually, they pick out guys that they're going to match up with. They say, "Oh, he's soft. I'm going to beat him."
Yep. And that's exactly what happens.
I can't argue with Will. That's really what it is.
That's straight up. That's straight up. We saw that every time Daryl was in. Who was that? What? Not only Beasley. It was somebody.
No, Tack McKinley. Tack McKinley went on Twitter and said this man is soft. He needs to do some bench press reps. He's weak. Yeah. He's not strong enough.
Caps will follow him around.
Literally called him out and put him on blast. And I know the guy tore his knee all the way up. Man, the very first 4-man rush film breakdown was by me. I broke down second team All-Pro Darrell Williams.
Mm-hmm.
2 years later, man, he's not that guy anymore.
No.
And I've accepted it. He's just not that guy. So
he might not ever be back to that position, man.
Probably not. There's an interesting stat that Pro Football Outsiders put out. The difference between a first-team All-Pro lineman and a guy that plays 1 to 4 years in the league is a difference of about 5 snaps per 100 snaps.
Jesus.
You miss 5 blocks in 100 snaps, that can get you out of the league.
Oof.
And if you make those blocks, you can end up being a Pro Bowl. So we're just at a point where we go down the line and we look at Darrell Williams, Matt Paradis, even Taylor Moton has struggled. We got to do some soul searching. That's just where I'm at with it. We don't have the offensive line that's needed. I've talked about that previous episodes, probably about all of them. I just haven't gotten what I expect from an offensive line. I'll be completely outraged if we don't address it within rounds 1 through 3 this upcoming season.
They better not bring back. They better not bring back Cam and not address that O-line, bro. They better not do that.
It has to be addressed.
It has to.
I gotta toot Genesis's horn.
It has to.
I gotta toot her horn because when it comes down to day 1 and 2 picks,
yep,
you've been trading up for everything that you wanted. Your second round pick was Greg Little, who's had a concussion problem, and the reason why I got to play. So let me let the fans know. I'll post this on the 4-Man Rush Instagram or the Facebook.
Yeah.
The first particular play that comes to mind that actually got Greg Little to have a concussion, he was soft on that play.
Tampa.
And that's what everybody's accusing us of. Oh, we play soft. It was the softest effort I ever seen. We were playing against the Texans.
And
a guy just straight up punched him in the mouth.
Oh, that one.
So,
hey, folks, go look at that. I don't know if that play is in the highlights or not.
No, it's not. I'll make sure I post it when we're done recording because people got to see this.
Bro, he got thrown like a rag doll, bro. That was just a club move. He
got destroyed, and it ended up destroying the whole play.
Yeah.
When it comes down to it, you moved up to get Greg Little in the second round. And he's a project. The past 2 years, you've traded up for 2 projects.
Oh,
I'm
my
done,
God, bro.
It was the same thing with Gettleman. He fixed the cap, but he traded up for Devin Funches.
Yeah, man.
Who's not on the team anymore.
Not even here.
Why we can't just evaluate, send our scouts to the right place, and just select the right players day 1 and day 2? I don't get it.
God almighty. Best scout collegiate talent in the world.
Larry, just to go off your point, about what Tack McKinley said, I had the honor of just looking up here. Tack McKinley on the season only has 3.5 sacks. Guess how many of those 3.5 sacks came against the Panthers?
Do, 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 do.
3 of the 3.5 have came against the Panthers. So for him to be talking all that smack,
oh my God!
I mean, okay, you won, you swept us. Okay, I get that part, but bruh, I mean, he had 5 tackles against us this past Sunday. That's a season high for him. Because you look down the stat line, all I see is 1s and 2s.
Wow.
As far as tackles, like this dude is just. So, like Larry was saying before, each time we play the Falcons, if we let guys like Tack McKinley and Vic Beasley go off against us, I mean, we're just a mess. Same thing with Vic Beasley. He's got 6 sacks on the season. Guess how many came against the Carolina Panthers?
4.
Close, 3. He had 2 Sunday, but he also had 2 forced fumbles. Shouts out to Cal Allen for them, adding the Vic Beasley stat line. Probably get him an extension. And he had 1 against us when they came to Charlotte back in November. So guys who have struggled have been when they play us, they've just been eaten. Has anybody heard anything from Bucs linebacker Shane Barrett since he played us early in week 2 on the Thursday night game?
Not a peep.
So yeah, we're letting guys that shouldn't even be mentioned become mentionable, and they feeling cocky and full of themselves, right now. But man, it's it's the struggle, man. It's the struggle.
Yeah, folks, get ready for another L on Sunday, I'm afraid. Russell Wilson don't play no games. Jesus Christ. They got a 1,000-yard rusher on that team? Yeah, we're in trouble. How's it go, Kevin?
It's going to be trouble.
So, I mean, hey, if you got tickets to the game, go to the game. It's an experience. You get a chance to go down there and hang out with some more Panther fans, tailgate with the riot, whatever. Have fun. But lower your expectations, folks. Just saying.
Yeah, because tickets, I checked today because I know Coronado was asking about it, were $32. Yeah. So on Ticketmaster.com. So that's what the price of the tickets were.
There you go, folks.
And looking ahead, because the news is on in front of me, the weather for Sunday is going to be sunny, high 60, low of 40.
Oh.
That's a pretty decent, December day for football.
Perfect football weather.
So, yeah. So, hey, come on out.
Yeah, man. Support your team, man.
Hey, I don't want to get on my Suge Knight, but listen.
Uh-oh.
If you're looking to make a Pro Bowl, if you're looking to get a contract extension, if you're tired of your coach not putting you on the field when he's supposed to, come to BOA. Come to Bank of America.
That's a good one. I like that one.
Yo, he didn't go Source Awards on it. Hey, that was good, Larry. That was good. Now, but all realness, though, yeah, if you want to go in the Pro Bowl and you're a defensive lineman, come on down to Bank of America. We got something for you. God almighty. Shit. We even give you a gift card to Bojangles after the game, whatever.
For $1, because that's what mine was when I got mine at the last game. $1 damn.
$1 damn.
I'm like, y'all won't give me. Y'all won't give me no win. I can't. What am I gonna do with $1?
How much is one rib?
I mean,
come on, man. Oh gosh. All right. Well, let's go ahead and wrap this up, folks. Oh man, we really didn't see this coming. I was listening to the old podcast going into the preseason. We sounded so optimistic. And then boom, crash, splash. It's a whole nother world now, man. Hey, you never know what's going to happen in life, folks. Take advantage of your opportunities.
Yeah, Tim, this is a classic example of looking good on paper, but looking like shit on the field.
Amen. I mean, prime example. Hey, you guys remember the Los Angeles Lakers when they had Karl Malone and Gary Payton? They put together a squad. Didn't win a goddamn thing. Didn't win shit. And this is what we got. God almighty. Anyway.
The Rams did the same thing, but at least they got to the Super Bowl. At least they got there.
Yeah, exactly. At least they got there. They damn near won it. Oh, well. These things happen, folks. These things happen. But, as the great Sam Mills said, we will keep pounding. And you can count on that. Pounding what? I don't know, but we're going to keep pounding. And so it's going to be all right. So, thanks again, folks, for checking out the 4-Man Rush podcast. I hope we keep your spirits up through this tumultuous ending of the season here. On behalf of Kevin and Kenneth and Larry and Will and Kennard. It's not Kennard, I'm sorry, but I already said your name. Norris and Jadarius and the rest of the four-man rush crew. We'd like to really thank you guys for real. And again, if you have questions, send them via email. You can message us or DM us on Instagram or Facebook or whatnot, and we'll collaborate your questions and we'll put them together on here on the podcast and give you a shout out and all that good stuff. And, big shout out to Miss Genesis on the Instagram. Great questions, great insight, man. That's the type of stuff we like to hear right there and talk about, for that matter. But again, thanks guys. Hope you have a great morning, afternoon, evening whenever you listen to this podcast. Be sure to check us out on all the social media platforms and our website at thefourmanrush.com. This is Timmy VO giving you guys a good night, and as always, keep pounding. We're clear, fellas.
Oh boy.
That was some funny shit, Larry.
Yo, dead ass, bro. Like you.
Come on down to B of A.
You want to make a Pro Bowl, bro? Just play the Panthers. You good?
That's it. Yeah, I love that.
Shit was funny, boy. I wish it was a lie. I wish it was a damn lie.
No lies detected.
Yeah, none. Zero. Zip.
None. Zero.
I'm just taking time to really let it breathe. So baby, just chill. Yeah. She love it. We out in public and we can just chill with my partners, and we can go back to my crib and just chill under covers and do we call me and you lovers, 'cause I just...
The Four-Man Rush is brought to you by the love and respect of and for the Carolina Panthers and Carolina Panther fans everywhere. Keep pounding. The Four-Man Rush is a non-affiliate of the Carolina Panther organization. All thoughts, assessments, and content of this podcast is directly related to the Four-Man Rush exclusively.